The game over music in Deltarune is called Faint Courage, and today I want to ask, why? What's so important about courage in Deltarune? It might seem like a silly question, but in a Toby Fox game, when a word is highlighted in yellow and repeatedly appears throughout the game, it's usually a sign we should be paying attention to it. In Undertale, the word determination is shoved in your face every time you save the game. And not only does it become clear that determination is a core theme of the story, but we eventually learn that determination is a real in-universe power, a revelation acting as a punchline to an entire game's worth of build-up. Not to mention that determination also happens to be the name of Undertale's game over music. So naturally, one has to question the significance of faint courage. Does this imply that courage will be a core theme of Deltarune? Could it be an in-universe force akin to determination, doubling as a meta-explanation and tripling as a metaphor for some artsy storytelling themes or whatever? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to take a look at every single instance of the word courage in Deltarune. Well, that wasn't a lot. I omitted most instances of the word encouragement because they're mostly irrelevant in context, with the exception of Chris using courage to encourage the party. Aside from that, this is the definitive list of every time courage is mentioned in Deltarune. Kind of weird that it got its own song. It's no determination, that's for sure. But I like it more when my Toby Fox game assigns abstract metaphorical meaning and metafictional powers to certain words. And let's be honest, people have made video essays with far less to work with, so let's just dive into this. The first and most prominent mention of courage is from Ralze, who says that Chris and Susie both have the courage necessary to save the world. Presumably save it from the roaring, which we learned about in Chapter 2. The fact that courage is specifically used, capitalized, and highlighted in bright yellow text screams that courage in particular is important here. It implies that our heroes possessing courage will be pivotal to them fulfilling the prophecy and stopping the roaring. You could even say that courage is what makes them heroes. The only other instance of the word courage outside of battle is Noelle freaking out about seeing Susie and lamenting her lack of courage to confess her feelings. This seems unrelated, but I think the blatant use of the word courage could be meaningful, as by the end of her character arc in Chapter 2, Noelle grows in her courage, standing up to Queen and pursuing Susie further, putting her on the level of the rest of the Fun Gang as heroes. I think the fact that Noelle's entire arc is centered around her gaining courage could be pretty important, considering she's a pretty important character. Aside from this, we're just left with Chris's courage ability, which they're able to use in the fights against King and Queen. And this awesome power just raises everybody's defenses. Thanks, Chris. You know, when I started thinking about courage, my initial gut instinct was that it was the equivalent of determination in Undertale, giving Chris the ability to save and persist after death, which would explain the game over theme, but no, this is just as cool, Chris. Don't worry about it. It seems like courage is a tangible power within Deltarune. It's just kinda lame. But this is just what we see on the surface. Courage is basically Chris's equivalent of Susie's Red Buster and Ralze's Dual Heal. When Susie and Ralze use their respective abilities, we're told, your soul shined its power on Susie/Ralze. This is really interesting. It's a property of souls that we haven't seen before. What does it mean for us to shine our power on our party members? What is this power that we are sharing with them? Well, I believe this power is courage. It makes sense, because when Chris uses this soul power for themselves, it's just called courage. And we're even told that Chris is able to share their courage with the party, encouragement. So courage is a power of the soul, particularly Chris's soul. What is it a metaphor for? I guess I'm asking, what does courage have to do with Deltarune? I mean, when you look at the game as a narrative overall, you probably think of other words like escapism, fiction, freedom, gaster. Courage doesn't immediately stick out as a major theme of the story, and yet it's the name of a major music theme in the soundtrack. Well, to talk about courage, I want to first take a look at the other, more popular characteristic of a human soul that we actually seem to know more about despite it having even less mentions in the script. As you're well aware, determination in Deltarune works kinda differently than in Undertale. As far as we can piece together currently, it's a power possessed by all Lightners, humans and monsters, to create dark fountains. It seems symbolic of having the ability to create fiction, to immerse others in a world that gives them an escape from the imperfections and inconveniences of their real one. Like Toby Fox creating the dark fountain that was Undertale, resulting in millions of Tumblr users falling into its fictional world and, well, seemingly never leaving. It's interesting, though, that these dark fountains, the act of creating them and the worlds that they spawn, are framed as bad. I mean, not necessarily evil or malicious per se, just legendarily cataclysmic. Being a hero in the legend of Deltarune means sealing these fountains away and preventing the world from being completely subsumed by them. Oh yeah, we were talking about courage, huh? What's the relationship between courage and determination, two properties of the soul? And how does courage fit into this story of fiction and escapism? After all, there isn't really anything courageous about focusing determination into a knife to create a dark fountain. There's nothing courageous about stumbling into fictional worlds and making friends with its inhabitants. It might seem cooler to adventure through a fantastical land as a hero, but at the end of the day, there's nothing courageous about the dark worlds. Nothing courageous about making a dark world. All these kids at the school with their own uniquely messed up lives, they find enjoyment in the dark worlds for providing an escape from their real problems, sure, but that's not courage. No, courage is taking that first step back into reality and facing your problems head on. Courage is waking up from your dream and tackling the struggles of the real world in spite of how challenging that can be. Anyone can fall into a dark world and linger in its comforting illusions, but it takes a truly courageous soul, a hero whose soul shines with courage, to seal the dark fountain and return everyone back to reality. The legend of Deltarune is not really that much about the dark worlds. It's about heroes who are destined to save their own world, the real world, their real lives, from being subsumed by darkness. And that takes courage. I think this is the power that allows Chris to seal the fountains. The power in their soul that they shine upon others as well to prevent the darkness from prevailing. So going back to the first question posed in this video. Why is this song called Faint Courage? Because when you let that faint light in your soul flicker out completely, when your courage to tackle your real problems does not persist, when you refuse to seal the fountains, to break away from escapism, to return to your own reality, then the world is covered in darkness. Let me know what you think of this theory in the comments. It's actually been a while since the last true Deltarune theory on this channel. We've gotten caught up in mad spam and the soul mode shenanigans, but it was nice to actually write a real video essay again. Thank you to the Patreon supporters for supporting the channel directly. If you'd like to join for just $1 a month, you can get early access to every new video. And you should subscribe to this channel because I will be posting Deltarune content every single week as we prepare for June 5th. Thanks for watching till the end, and I'll see you all next week.